In 2022, Loop Earplugs generated 42 million euros in sales. In 2023, that number jumped to 126 million euros in sales. And then in 2024, they generated more than 200 million euros in sales. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down exactly what their ad creative funnel looks like on one of their main acquisition channels, which is Meta. And then we're going to be trying to understand exactly what's required if you want to scale to the same level with the same speed. So with that being said, let's get into my laptop and see exactly what these guys have done in the past few years. All right, so first things first, you will be able to get access to this page right here. That's going to be the basis of the whole video on this link right here. I really hope that you are resourceful enough to be able to type it out. The link is not that long. Please don't ask me in the comments to share the link because I'm probably not going to see the comments. But anyway, so Loop Earplugs, in my opinion, is one of the best Meta advertisers in 2025, 2024 and 2023 as well. But since it's 2025, we're talking about 2025. And they're scaling in a niche that you will never consider actually scalable because they have scaled to 200 million euros in annual revenue. And the pace that they're doing it with is quite ridiculous because you're going to see that in 2022, they did 42 million. And then in 2023, they grew to 126 million. And then 2024, they did, I think, just a bit over 200 million, which is absolutely ridiculous. And the question that we're going to be answering today is how did they do it? And obviously, the whole video is going to be based on Meta, but I cannot say, and I don't think that Meta is the main reason why they have scaled to that level, because they are quite strong when it comes to influencer marketing. They have partnerships with F1 drivers like Google and YouTube. I know that they're firing on all cylinders when it comes to YouTube advertising because I get their ads all the time. Then we have PR. If you scroll on TikTok and type out Loop Earplugs, you're going to see a whole lot of videos from influencers, from content creators. Same thing with YouTube. If you type out Loop Earplugs, you're just going to see a huge wall of videos of people reviewing Loop Earplugs and giving people their honest opinion about it. And it's actually a great mix of direct response and on-brand ad creatives when it comes to Meta. And before we get into the actual ad examples, I just want to quickly walk you through this, which is probably the most important thing for me personally when it comes to advertising on social media, and the fact that you need to understand where exactly does your customer find him or herself at the moment that they see your ad, because you cannot expect to target somebody who absolutely has no idea about anything when it comes to your product or your brand to convert if you show him a 50% discount of your product. They don't care. They don't care about your product. They don't know what it does. They might not even know that they have a problem to solve in the first place. So you need to perfectly understand who you are targeting so that you can show those people relevant content. And that's basically everything that you need to do. Show relevant, authentic content to people in order to convert them, because otherwise they're just not going to buy. So you have to target the different awareness levels with different messages. And it's super important to understand this. And before we continue with the examples, we're just going to have a very broad overview of Loop's ad creative masterclass, basically. And you are going to see right here that currently they run about a lot of ads. They run more than 3,000 ads. And the majority of them are image ads. You can see here, 83% are images, 16.5% is video content. I still believe that video performs better for them. But the thing is that if you really think about it, image ads, static image ads are super easy and super cheap to create. So this allows them, I guess, to test as much as they want and prove a message before they go ahead and spend money on content creators, on video editors, on script writers, etc., etc. So images just offer a very easy, a very quick way to test a message, validate it first, and then produce a video, because video is obviously more time consuming. And another concept that's super important is creative diversity. You might be already seeing a lot of people on X, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, including myself, talking about creative diversity. And creative diversity is built on the premise of creating content for every subgroup of people that find themselves in the bigger group called customer avatar. This is super important because this is the only thing that's going to allow you to basically show relevant content to people, because We can just demonstrate it with some examples from Loop. So Loop earplugs, they have identified multiple different core avatars, and we're going to talk about 4 right now. The party goer, people who work in noisy environments, people with ADHD, and people who have trouble sleeping. So only after they understand who their customer is, can they produce content that speaks to their desires, to their problems, to their pain points, and basically to what they want to achieve in their lives. So as you are going to see right here, they have multiple different messages for each of those customer avatars. As you are going to see right here, the first avatar is basically having a problem of ringing ears. Like, this is the party goer. Keep ringing ears out of the party. Then we have somebody who's working in the office. Keep office chatter out. Sleep through anything, and then keep noise out of your commute. These are different headlines that speak to completely different people. And of course, they try to showcase who they're talking to with the image of the person, and that's relevant content. So if you are party goer, you know that the next morning, your ears and your whole head is just ringing. It's buzzing because of the volume of the music that you listened to last night. And then you have other people here who wake up because of like noisy neighbors. The dog of their neighbors is barking. You have people playing music. You have scooters and motorcycles going or passing by, I guess. Police, ambulance, like the fire brigade, like all of the different things that you can think of, people face. So that's why they would need Loop earplugs. These are the different problems that Loop is actually solving. So let's go into mastering the unaware, which in my opinion is kind of the key to really scaling a business, because if you master talking to top of funnel cold, really like super cold audiences that have no idea that they need your product and that your brand exists, and then make them buy after them seeing one ad creative, like, you are going to be printing so much money. And then I'm not going to be going through all of the examples right here. I'm just going to spend not more than 5 seconds on each ad. And then, of course, you can access the whole document on this link right here. So as you are going to see, Loop is using kind of the hook of their video to target the people that they are going to be targeting. And here, for example, you have the target audience of health conscious mothers with the angle of improved sleep.
Did you know that good health starts with quality sleep? As adults,
So good health starts with quality sleep. Here, you're not talking about the product. You're not talking about even the problem, because it's just targeting people who want good sleep and who prioritize their health. Like, they don't know that Loop earplugs and then noise reduction at night can actually help them sleep better and improve their health. And the ad creative structure that you see right here is more of an educational storytelling, because in the beginning, in the hook, you have "Did you know?", which sparks curiosity. And the number one way to attract people's attention is to spark curiosity, make them curious about the thing that you're going to be talking about.
we need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Personally, I would love to get 9, but as a parent, that's not always possible. That's why I got the Loop.
So the product is not even being shown earlier than 10 seconds in. So this really needs to nail the pain point and the target avatar, so that the avatar is actually inclined to listen up until second 10, so that they can see what's actually going to be the solution to their problem and the fact that they are parents who cannot really get enough sleep. So we have the problem introduction, the product introduction, benefits, the features, the use cases, and the call to action. And this thing you can watch by yourself when you access the whole deck using this link right here. And then you have party goers.
I'm going to Coachella. So good dress for me as a girl who's a huge fan of festivals. And
so as you can see right here, it's not talking about the problem. It's not talking about the product. It's just capturing people's attention with super relevant content to what people see on their TikTok feed, because the get ready with me ad creative structure is something that's super common on organic feed. So that's how Loop is actually targeting people without even talking about their product. Their customers, or the target audience right here, doesn't even know that they need earplugs. But of course, Loop is using a native ad style to capture the attention of those people and then sell them on the fact that they need earplugs, basically.
the most important part of the outfit, Yuma, Coachella's official festival earplugs. But first thing first, the outfit. I'm adding a right.
So the main focus here is not even on the product, it's on the outfit, the get ready with me. So it starts with a trigger event, which is actually a real event, Coachella. And then they're calling out the ICP.
So get dressed with me as a girl who's a huge fan of festivals.
A girl who's a huge fan of festivals. You obviously, if you're not a huge fan of festivals, that's not for you. And that's the purpose of this video, to disqualify the unqualified people and qualify the qualified audience. Then it leads with product introduction. Obviously, as you see right here, the introduction of the product. Then you have the body of the video, which I haven't really categorized because you just have like a terrible outfit that this girl is putting on, and then like a very organic concept. And then you have some product demonstration, like how this thing works and who is this for, and then a call to action at the end. And the last video that I'm going to be focusing on in the unaware stage of awareness is basically the one that's targeting travelers.
I have been traveling for the past few months, and let me tell you, packing smart is the key to a stress-free adventure. Here are my do's and don'ts for what to bring on your travels.
So it's not even focused on the product. That's how we really talk to unaware audiences, because they don't give a shit about your product. All they care about is traveling and like how to pack and the do's and don'ts and the best accessories to pack. And I can confirm that this is a concept that works extremely well because we're currently implementing it for one of our clients who's selling travel accessories. And basically, one of the top performing concepts is top 4 travel accessories. Like, it's targeting people who just want to prepare themselves for traveling. And this is an unaware market. They don't know they need our product. They don't have a problem to solve. They just prepare themselves. And then here you have credibility, because apparently this guy is a frequent traveler because he showed.
I have been traveling for the past few months, and let me tell you, packing smart is the key to a
different experiences, which is pretty accurate for the person that they're trying to hit, and then revealing a travel secret, like tell the viewer that they're going to learn something new, a stress-free way to pack for your next adventure, and the do's and don'ts and all of the different products. This is actually something that similar thing that we did for our client is we introduced our product as the second product in the top 4 travel accessories that we are advertising. I don't know why. We have tested it, addressing it as the last product. It didn't work as good because you have to create a very good concept in order to make people watch the ad until the end to review your product, basically. So obviously, starting with it is going to be very cheesy, and people might sense that this is an ad. So using it as number 2 is kind of like the perfect sequence, I guess, of you revealing your product. Then, of course, I have some more examples, but the ad creative strategy here is phenomenal because they unlock multiple different audiences within their top of funnel, right? Because you have ravers, you have gym goers, you have health-conscious mothers, you have restaurant workers and restaurant owners that you can see right here, and then you have frequent travelers. So you're unlocking a huge pool of people with the type of content that you produce, because every single piece of content speaks to a different person. And this is key, like meeting your ICP exactly where they are at, and this is basically their current situation. Now we're going to continue with the problem aware audience, and the first one is basically the 9-to-5ers. So one thing to note here is that the prospect doesn't have a desire. Like they don't have a desire. They have a need, because they recognize the need immediately, but they don't actually yet realize the connection between the fulfillment of that need and your product. So let's start with the need.
Working at one of those curly bars that there's music, chatter, chaos, then you
So music, chatter, chaos, like that's the problem. That's what they face. And what I like here about Loop is that they introduced the product very soon, very early, even though I'm not a huge fan of doing this, because you don't build that emotional connection with your customer. And this is actually what your customer is kind of used to seeing, people just shouting that this is a product that they need. But nonetheless, this is something that has worked quite well for Loop, because they have been doing this for like the past 1 year at least, introducing the product as soon as they can for problem aware and just more aware audiences. Then what we have here, people who cannot sleep.
Do you hate being woken up at 3 a.m. or noisy neighbors?
So you lead with the problem here. That's the need. Like you have a need to actually sleep, and the problem and the angle here is noisy neighbors. It could be neighbors playing music. It could be ambulances passing by at 3 a.m. and you're waking up every single day. So you can explore different angles with your concepts, but the main thing is that you need to understand who your target customer is. And of course, the best at creative structure for problem-aware customers is the problem solution. You're going to see a similar thing right here with the problem solution, where you start with the problem, or I guess with the desired situation, and then you tell people that this is going to be like super fast and easy.
Improve your productivity with this one easy step.
So this is for unproductive people who struggle with productivity. That's the problem.
Most of my workdays used to look like this, with loads of procrastination and distractions.
Loads of procrastination and distractions. Like, this is something that a lot of people can relate to, because I have really close friends of mine who struggle with productivity and procrastination, and they just like try to find something else to do, but not work or study.
Until I got loop engage earplugs, which filter up to 16 days.
So it continues with the problem introduction, which is right after the hook. Most of my days used to look like this. Then you have the product introduction, features, benefits, etc., etc. And then you can see a bit more examples right here. And then we move into the solution of our market. The prospect either knows or recognizes immediately that he or she wants what the product does. So they instantly can say yes to what you're offering. Like, that's the purpose of the hook or the headline. Keep noise out of your commute. If you're targeting people who hate the noise when commuting, they would instantly recognize themselves and would instantly say yes. Like, that's the main thing that you're trying to achieve with your solution-aware ads. Sleep through anything? Yes, I want it. Like, I want to sleep through everything. Keep noise chatter out. Same thing. Like, we already discussed those examples. And then another a UGC example, actually.
Want better focus? I mean, nearly.
So, want better focus. Of course, people that struggle focusing want better focus. So the answer is instantly going to be, yes, I want this. So they're sending better focus to people who cannot focus in the problem solution framework, where they introduce the problem, then they expand on the problem. And this is a great way to incorporate more social proof by using mashup visuals to create the bandwagon effect. And then, of course, product introduction, benefits, features, etc., etc. Earplugs do not work. This is actually a great way to handle preconceived notions about your industry and about your product, because I personally am not a fan of earplugs. I don't use them. I use my headphones, which are the iPhone Pro headphones, which is pretty good for isolation. I don't know why this thing is not showing up. Anyway, but the main reason why I have iPhones instead of like AirPods instead of earplugs is because I just don't think that earplugs work. And this is a great way to actually handle this objection by addressing it head on. Then here you have, actually, this is something super relevant to me. I still don't know why this thing is not showing up. But of course you can access all of the images and all of the examples right here. You have people who are listening to music when they study or they work, but of course the better option is loop earplugs, because they keep you in your bubble. And this is an us versus them concept that would attract people who currently listen to music. And then you have people who don't believe earplugs work, don't think earplugs are right for you. So basically, they have seen that this way of talking to people actually makes sense. So they are expanding into this message. Earplugs do not work, with both static ads and UGC content. So this is a great way. Like, this is proper advertising right here. And this is why potentially Meta has contributed to Loop scaling to 200 million euros a year in revenue. It's because, first of all, they understand their message. Second of all, they understand their customer. And third of all, they're experimenting with so many different formats to target people and actually meet them where they are at. Because some people are going to be using more TikTok Reels or like Facebook IG Reels. So they're going to be watching more video content or UGC content, whereas more people, like other people, could be just engaging with static ads, and Facebook knows everything. So you have to give your company, your business, the biggest likelihood of hitting your customer by experimenting with your top performing message and turning it into multiple different content pieces. Then we move into the product aware, and then we'll be only left with the most aware audience. And this is where you can actually, for the first time, include the name of your product within the headline of the static image or the hook of the it's not a static image, but the hook of the UGC ad, because people will recognize you, because that's the main thing. When somebody's product aware, they know about your product, but they are not 100% sure about all of its features, benefits, and they are not fully convinced that they have to spend money on your product. So this is basically what Loop is doing.
Here's the difference between traditional foam earplugs and loop earplugs.
So product aware, like you can start with the name of the company, and this is somebody who is aware of Loop but might be considering different alternatives. They're not fully sold on the functionality and why they need it. So that's what they do. Like they compare Loop to traditional earplugs, which are uncomfortable, bulky, one size fits none, ugly, and then they address or compare Loop to the foam earplugs.
Most people find traditional foam earplugs uncomfortable and bulky, especially when worn for long periods of time. Loop is...
So yeah, this is a great concept for people that are already aware of the product but are not fully sold on its benefits. And then here we have
answering the most commonly asked questions about loop earplugs.
Answering the most commonly asked questions. Like this is phenomenal. Like this concept is great because this is where, like, this is perfect. People who haven't purchased, they have questions in their mind. And if you create such a video that answers those questions, which we're going to actually watch it till the end for the first time, and we're going to see what those questions are, it makes the person watching the ad that much more likely to purchase, because obviously the question is answered. And the only reason why people don't buy is because they have questions. They are not sure if this thing is going to work for them. So this is what they do, and this is genius. And I highly recommend you do the same thing, because we have done it for our clients as well, mainly handling the pricing objection. So it has always worked super well. So let's see what Loop is doing.
Answering the most commonly asked questions about loop earplugs.
Obviously, this is the first question. Is it worth it? Like, is it worth my money? Do I need to spend money on this?
Can you really tell the difference between each mode using the switch earplugs?
And this is a phenomenal question, because I personally do have the same question when it comes to loop earplugs. Like, I don't really believe that you can switch into different modes and something is going to happen. I think that this is just marketing, but apparently they have paid a content creator to answer the same question. And if I have this one in my mind as the only blocker, I might be much more likely to consider purchasing immediately.
100%. Loop switch earplugs make it easy to adjust to your environment, reducing just the right amount of noise. Are they worth it for concerts? Honestly, I feel like I can hear the performer better. The Loop Experience earplugs reduce the crowd's noise, so I can still enjoy the music. Can you hear yourself talk? Yeah, so unlike headphones, it's much clearer.
So a great way to convince people by answering their commonly asked questions. And then here you have a bit more examples, what to expect, which is preparing people for their purchase, using some social proof, 2.1 million earplugs sold last year, and then positive reviews and testimonials from happy customers. Like, if you invest the same amount of time that I've invested analyzing the Loop earplugs, like, you would be ready to buy after seeing all of this content. And then, of course, the last audience is the most aware audience, which is basically people who know about your product, they know what it does, and they just they want it. They just need the right offer, or they just need a reminder about your product, or potentially showing people that you have just launched a few new colors, I guess, of your product in order to upsell previous customers, because the most aware audience is also an audience of people who have already purchased from you. So here you're pushing a bundle. So you're trying, okay, you cannot see it. You're pushing a bundle, as you can see right here, trying to convince people to buy with a percentage off. And then here, same thing, bundle and save, 15% off. So this is where you can lead with the name of your product, present different offers to people, bundles, discounts, product drops, etc. And this is the ultimate creative strategy. As you can see right here, it has just everything. Like, I've been recording this video for 25 minutes already, and I can probably keep talking about loop earplugs. We haven't even gone through the majority of the ads, but there is just so much thing to learn from them that it would make sense for you to analyze basically what one of the biggest and the most successful companies in the e-commerce space is actually doing and how they are addressing and targeting people. It's all about understanding who your ICP is, understanding their problems, understanding their desires, and then selling them basically your product as the solution to their problems. And of course, I have done some more breakdowns. For example, right here, you can see I've broken down AG1 funnel in a similar way. I have broken down HUO funnel in a similar way. So all you need to do is just type this out in your browser and then check it out for yourself. And for those of you who want to work with an advertising agency that actually knows what they are doing and that can actually implement creative strategy at the highest top level in the e-commerce space, feel free to book a call with me using this link. We are currently taking on only one, unfortunately, client because we're very close to max capacity. But if that's you, then feel free to get in touch with me or book a call straight on this calendar right here. So with that being said, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.